Okay, are y'all ready for STAAR Math Grade 6? In this video, we're doing part 3 of a 3-part series. And so, put a link on down in the description for part 1 and part 2 if you missed it. Part 3 will start with number 28, and that'll go up to 38. There are 38 problems total. And part 2 was 15 to 27. So this test was administered May of 2021. And so this is for grade 6 mathematics. I will go over the problems step by step in detail. And I'll offer sometimes alternate methods, alternate solutions on how to do these. Now you can do them any way that's easier for you. If there's another way easier for you, you can do it that way. So I'm here to provide some ideas and help you out on this test so all of you can succeed and pass the STAAR test. So the first one in part 3 is going to be number 28. Number 28 says the table shows the amount of sugar Felicia mixes with each amount of water she puts in her hummingbird feeder. So she has 1/8 cup, and that's equal to 1/2 of water. 1/2 cup of sugar is 2 cups, and 3/4 is 3. And 5/6 is 3 1/3. Based on this information, how many cups of sugar should she mix with 6 cups of water? So I'm going to put a 6 here, and over here I'm going to put X, some number X that corresponds with 6. So I noticed that 3 cups of water, you need 3/4. And for 6, how much is that? Well, if I double this amount here times 2, that means I have to double this amount here times 2. So I need 3/4 and then another 3/4 to give me X. So then 3/4 or 3/4 plus 3/4, that will give me the 6 cups of water. So when you add these two, 3 plus 3 is 6, and the denominator stays the same. That would be just 4. So I have 6/4, which is 3/2. And if you simplify 3/2, that's 1 1/2. So in this case, the answer is F. We need 1 1/2 cups of water. No, 1 1/2 cups of sugar for the 6 cups of water that is being asked in this question. Okay, the next question, number 29. 2 expressions are shown. The second expression is not complete. So we have to fill in the box here. The first expression 1, says 200R minus a negative 110. So we have 200R minus a negative 110. And that's equal to what? What is missing so that these two are equal? So what is this equal to? Well, first of all, minus a negative 110, when you subtract a negative, you change the sign and then add. So for this problem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the sign here and then add. So this becomes 200R plus 110. And in expression 2, it says something added to 200R. Well, it looks like that something is going to be this 110. So the answer here is 110. So for 29, 110 is the answer. Number 30, the table shows the relationship between B, the number of slices of bread, and C, the total number of calories. So 2 slices of bread is 140 calories. That means what? That means that 1 slice of bread would be 70 calories. And 4 is 280, and 8 is 560, and so on. So which equation represents the relationship between B and C? Well, it looks to me like for every slice of bread, you got to multiply by 70. So it looks to me like it should be CF. C equals 70B. So, and you can check this by taking 70 times B. So if B was 2, you could multiply 70 times 2 and you get 140. And for the second one here, if C was 4, you could do 70 times 4 and you get 280 and so on. So it's a good way to check. 70B is the answer for number 30. Number 32. The length of a rectangle is 7 inches and the area of the rectangle is 199.5 square inches. What is the width? So let's say we have a rectangle like this, and we know the length here is 7, and the area, we're looking for the width, let's call this W, and the area is 199.5. So that means that if you multiply the length times the width, 7 times W, that's going to be 199.5, which is pretty close to 200. Okay, so that means we have to divide by 7. So what number times 7 gives you 199.5? We could divide 199.5 divided by 7, and that would give you the answer. But I'm looking at the answers, and the answers are all different numbers. You've got 28.5, 192, 1000. That's pretty big, so I don't think it's this one. So maybe you could ask yourself, 7 times what number? 7 times what number, W, is going to give you 199.5? Could it be this one? What is 7 times 30? 7 times 30 is 210. So it has to be something less than 30 because this is less than 210. Could it be 28.5? Yes, that's the answer. It's the only reasonable answer. So in this test, if you use a little bit of common sense, you don't have to do all the hard work. However, if we divide 7 into 19 here, you go 2 times 7 is 14. And then subtract, that's going to be 5, 9, and then put 8 here. 8 times 7 is 56. And then subtract, it's going to be 3, bring down the 0.5, and 7 and 35 is 5. So 28.5 is correct. So this is another way of doing it. You could divide it out, or you could just look at the answer and say, well, none of the answers are that close. Could it be a number less than 30? 7 times 30 is 210, and that means 28.5 works. Number 33. Jada worked 21 and a half hours last week. She earned $11.60 per hour. How much money did she earn last week? Okay, so there's several ways that we can do this problem. 21 and a half is the same thing as 21.5. And then $11.60 is 11.6. So you could multiply this times 11.6. That's one way of doing it. And you could multiply this out the long way. So I went ahead and wrote this here on the margin, 21.5 times 11.6. And if you want to write this down, go ahead. It would be good practice for you to do this on your own. You multiply 6 times the 215, 1290. Multiply 1 times 215, write your 0. Multiply 1 times 215, write 2 zeros. Add those up. The answer is $249.40. And that takes quite a bit of time. Now, is there another way of doing this problem? Yes, there's many ways of doing this problem. You don't have to do it that way. Let me see if there's another way that we could work this out. 21.5 is 21.5. If I change that to an improper fraction, 2 times 21 is 42 plus 1, that's 43. So as an improper fraction, that's 43 over 2. So that's 43 halves. And if I take half of 1160, that's 580. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 43 over 2 times 1160. And this 2 will go into 1160, 580. So all I have to do is multiply 43 times 5.8. And if you do this, work this out, you're also going to get 249.40. And I want you to go ahead and do this on your own. Multiply this out. Multiply this out any way that you want to. You're going to multiply 21.5, the number of hours, times how much she's earning, which is $11.60 per hour. And you're going to get $249.40. This is one where you record the answer and fill in the bubbles. This is not a multiple choice question. Okay, so the next question says, in a neighborhood, 12 over 40, or 12 out of 40 of the lots have 3 or more trees. Which percentage the portion of lots neighborhood with 3 or more trees? Okay, so we have 12 out of 40 is what as a percent? If you reduce this, you can divide by 4 here and divide by 4 here. And when you do that, you're going to get 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And 40 divided by 4 is 10. So you have 3/10, which can be written as 0.3. Or if you divide 12 divided by 40, you get 0.3. You can do 12 divided by 40. Let's see. 12 divided by 40. 4 goes in 12 3 times. But since it's 40, you actually have 40 into 120 is 3. So this is going to be a 0.3. 3 times 40 is 120. So 0.3, but you have to change it to percent. Remember that the question is what percentage. So you multiply this by 100. And so 0.3 times 100 is 30%. Okay. And so the answer here was 30%. So another thing that we could have done is when you have 12 over 40 and you multiply that by 100, you now have 1200, and then divide this by 40. And one of the zeros will cancel with that, and 4 into 12 is 3, 4 into 0 is 0, and that's 30%. So this is another way of looking at it. I multiply by 100 first to get to 1200, and then divide by 40. 1200 divided by 40. These two zeros will cancel out. 120 divided by 4 is 30%. So there's different ways of doing this. So the answer was J, 30%. Number 35, the perimeter of a triangle is 104 units, and the combined lengths of two sides is 64. So in this problem, we have a triangle, and we have 3 sides, A, B, and C, and the perimeter is the sum of the 3 sides, A plus B plus C. And it says here that the perimeter is 104, so this is equal to 104. And we know that 2 of those sides, could be any 2, let's say these 2, is 64. So we have some number A plus 64 is equal to 104. What number is added to 64 that will give you 104? Well, subtract 64 here and subtract 64 here. And when you do that, you're going to have that the missing number here is going to be what? 104, 4 minus 4 is 0, 10 minus 6 is 4, It looks like it should be 40. 40 was the correct answer for number 35. The answer is C. Number 36 is a dot plot that shows the number of packages mailed by the last 20 customers at a post office. So we have a total of 20 customers. Right here I see there's 6, and over here there's 6, and here there's 4, and 1 here, 1 there, and 2 there. So if you add 6 plus 4 plus 6, that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's 20 customers there. One customer had 5 packages. One customer had 8 packages, and 2 had 10 packages. These guys were really busy because they had a lot of packages. Maybe they are selling something on eBay or Amazon. But most of them had either 0, 1, or 2 packages. Now we can try to look at the question and see which statement best describes the data shown in the dot plot. The data distribution has gaps. Well, there are gaps because there's places with no dots. There's no dots here, no dots there. There's nothing there, nothing there. A lot of gaps. So it looks to me like the answer should be F. This data distribution has gaps. The data distribution is symmetrical? No. You would have an even number. You don't have symmetry there at all. The data is clustered at 5? I don't think so. There's only 1 at 5. Not clustered there, so that's not it. The peak of the data is at 10. Well, at 10, there's only 2. The peak of the data is more like at 0 or 2 because there's 6 at 0 and 6 with 2 packages. So the answer for 36 should be F. Number 37, the point Q is located on the coordinate grid at negative 9.73 and negative 3.32. In which quadrant is point Q located? Quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. So let's take a look at the quadrants. And so quadrant 1 is in here. Quadrant 2 is right here. And we go counterclockwise. This would be quadrant 3. And this would be quadrant 4. So in this case, if we were to plot a negative 9.7, that means we would go negative 9.7 units to the left. And then negative 3.32 would be down, negative 3.32. So it's going to be somewhere in here. So a negative and a negative, it goes to the left, and then it goes down. And it's going to be somewhere in quadrant 3. So the answer for number 37 should be answer C, as quadrant 3. And now we're at the last one, number 38. Yay! In a recipe, 3 eggs are used to make 45 cookies. So that means that 1 egg can make what? 1 egg could make, divide 45 divided by 3, that's 15 cookies. So we know that 1 egg can make 15 cookies. Which table shows a relationship between the number of eggs? This one here doesn't make sense because if you have more eggs, you should have more cookies. You can't have 15, 15, 15, 15. So we're going to rule this one out. If 1 egg is 15 cookies, then 6 eggs would be what? Well, we know that 3 eggs would give us 45. If we double that, 6 will give us 90 cookies. 6 eggs should give you 90 cookies. So this one says 6 eggs gives you 270. I don't think so. 6 was 15. That was way off. And this one says 6 will give you 90. That one makes sense. So 12, if you double the 6, that's going to give you 180. And 9 times 15 is 135, and 15 times 15 is 225. The answer is G. And that was the last one in part 3 of the 6th grade STAAR test and that was problems 28 through 38. If you made it this far, I appreciate all your hard work and everything you do to help you pass the STAAR Math Test. I think if you go through this video several times, you will be able to pass the test. A lot of the problems will be similar. You'll have to do all the calculations, take your time, and work carefully and work accurately.